Good evening, everyone. We return to the story of Caius, the spell sword, Dunmer, finest courier in Tamriel, the eternal champion, and soon to be a daedric summoner. However, this is the second time I'm recording this video, and it turns out that I need to get some money. I just had an early crash and decided it would be better to start over on the recording. However, I actually had to go to the wiki to figure out how much to take. I don't know who I'm going to be summoning yet. So, online it says I need something between 100 to 200,000. I'm gonna start with the 100 and take it from there. This is also to make sure that I have some spending money after the fact. Maybe I should have stopped by the bookstore as well. I'm carrying a lot. I'm carrying a lot, and apparently it's entirely in the books. We'll get some reading done when I can.
Incense and soft music soothe your nerves as you cross the threshold. Each item in this shop is carefully mounted and displayed. Not the slightest defect can be detected on any item within. Today is Tertus, the first seed, the day of summoning of Hermaeus Mora. Do you, Caius, wish to risk your life and very soul by summoning Hermaeus Mora into our mundane world?
Now, unfortunately, I don't know.
Okay, actually, I guess this isn't a Caius thing to say. I don't know who this guy is. I think Molag Bal is supposed to be a really bad one, but...
If it causes too much of a fuss, I'll just fight it. Yes.
Power, yes, is an elusive but eloquent prosecution. One of my minions possesses an ancient tome called the Oghma Infinium, which bequeaths great power on those who read its pages. If you exterminate a certain scrofulous patrician who has aroused my displeasure, I will arrange a meeting between you and the book.
The Oghma Infinium is mine.
Is this agreeable?
Yes.
Very well. This socialite I referred to resides in the Palace of Oxway. For the record, the name of your quarry is Gondictor Greening.
I'm writing this down. I found the Oghma Infinium in Arena, and I'm gonna find it here.
Kill him and proceed to Midbury, where my servant Victissa Wickham will wait for you in a library. I do not think there is anything to be gained by continuing this interview. Fail me not in this, Caius, and the power thou craves will be thine.
Well, woe unto Gondictor Greening, then. And I don't have any gold. Fair enough. I don't know if that's because the actual cost of a summoning is 103,000, or if it just takes all of your money. I don't know why I said my encumbrance is entirely from books. It's entirely from money. Did I get that wrong? Oxway.
On the 7th of First Seed every year, the people of Oxway celebrate First Planting, symbolically sowing the seeds for the autumn harvest. It is a festival of fresh beginnings, both for the crops and for the men and women of the town. Neighbors are reconciled in their disputes, resolutions are formed, bad habits dropped, and the diseased cured. The clerics at the temples run a free clinic all day long to cure people of poisoning, different diseases, paralyzation, and other banes found in the world of Tamriel.
Of course, I'm still hated despite the holiday. This looks like a palace.
Lara Copras. I'm happy to see you, Caius.
Happy to see you too. Where may I find Gondictor Greening?
Try that way, southwest. That's how my carriage driver goes.
Your carriage driver goes inside. Never mind.
Warms my heart to see you, Caius.
The palace is south of here, you say? Would you care for a chat? I don't know if I'm supposed to take this guy on or what.
Sash of the Wise is broken.
Is there some other palace I'm supposed to know about?
No, wait, I swear, I meant to pay Lord Mora back. Don't kill me, I beg of you. Here, spare my life and take this battle axe back to him as a token of my goodwill and a down payment on what I owe. Please, will you?
Sorry, dude. It's the Oghma Infinium.
Maes Mora will be pleased. You have slain Gondictor Greening.
Plus, I get to keep the axe. I suppose I should have expected consequences. Ooh, there's some goodies here. Alright, that seems like a good day's work. Pleasure to see you as well. Hear any nudes?
Lord Bridwell seems pretty pleased with the Dark Elf mercenary, but won't say why.
You're looking at it. Alright, now before I go too far. It says I'm healthy. I don't believe that for a second. I'm going to try and find a place to sell this gear that I just got. Oh, actually, before I do that, I will want to keep the axe. I just want to see if there's a blacksmith or a pawn shop in the area to sell off some of this stuff.
Incense and soft music soothe your nerves as you cross the threshold. Each item in this shop is carefully mounted and displayed. Not the slightest defect can be detected on any item within. Not bad, not bad. I give most people less, but for you, 185,146 gold. That's my absolute best offer.
I'll take it. So dealing with the ads, we've already more than paid for the summoning. Alright, Midbury it is. Enemies nearby. Bring it. You know what? I'm close enough. Well, maybe not, but... Hey, got a little more for you.
$93.49 gold. That's my absolute best offer.
Done. Pleasure doing business with you. I was gonna get ready for a fight. I'll see if I can go a different direction in hopes that I can avoid whatever riffraff are coming after me. Restoration going up is always a good news. That just brings us closer to another level in...
Grand to see you, Caius.
Could you please tell me where I can find, you know what? Victassa Wickham.
Go north. No, east. No, hold on. Let me show you Midbury's best book room on your map.
Works for me. Anyways, restoration going up just means that I'm closer to a new level in the Mages Guild. This, of course, makes me happy.
The shop is better appointed than many, and its wares lie neatly on the shelves. Although not fit for a king, all are skillfully crafted. Caius, I underestimated you. I told Mora that you couldn't do it, but here you are, and all of Daggerfall is in an uproar over Gondiktor Greening's death. As promised the book, remember, you can only read it once. See you later, maybe.
Oh, that is a thing of beauty.
The Oghma Infinium is a tome of knowledge written by the Ageless One, the wizard sage Xerxes. All who read the Infinium are filled with the energy of the artifact, which can be manipulated to raise one's abilities to a near demigod proportions. Once used, legend has it, the Infinium will disappear from its wielder. It leaves one with 30 bonus points to distribute among the character's attributes as one wants.
Or I can apparently sell it for 50,000 gold. Okay then. Now this is an harder call. All of these are sort of desirable and above average. I feel like strength is probably what I want to focus on, though. Maybe we'll take that to 80. Yeah, you know what? We'll just go for the primary stats first. Alright. That seems like a good day's work. Now before we leave here, let's try and get some of our reading out of the way as well, because we should be able to buy some other books and bring us back on track. So we're on King Edward Part 8.
King Edward Part the 8th, Chapter 8, Wilderland. The journey through Valenwood was pleasant. The weather held fair for the most part, with sunny days and cool nights. Bright leaves of scarlet, crimson, gold, and green drifted down to form a carpet beneath their horses' feet. Valenwood was very different from the somber, deep forests of High Rock. When they reached the northern border, Edward, looking back, saw that the trees were mostly bare, shorn of their glory. Before them lay a wide green land of rolling hills with something trees. It seemed to spread on forever. This is the Wilderland, Edward, Morland said. Be on your guard. It seems a pleasant land, but no king's writ runs here. Okay. In order to avoid the frustrations from last time, I'm just going to go to the website right away. Because this one already tries my patience. No king's writ runs here. Each man's hand is against every other's, and there are worse than men. All races in Tamriel meet here and clash, save thine, perhaps. They journeyed for some days more with small incident, save one band of Khajiit raiders that crept up on their camp by night. They were easily repelled. Silk slew one, and the rest ran off yowling. The gentle wood elf girl, Willow, lobbed fireballs after them. There were no roads, just small paths that crisscrossed one another and seemingly led nowhere. After 2 weeks of steady riding, they came to a bowl-shaped place in the hills where the land was tilled. The fields looked fair and were stacked with harvest, but the folk were dispirited, ragged, and unfriendly. Questions about inns got only shrugs and puzzled looks. Armed bands challenged them at times and demanded to know their business. When Morland said that they were bound for Morrowind, they were told to pass through quickly and mind that they stole nothing. Passage is all we wish, Morland said quietly. Someone should teach these folk manners, the usually placid Mats growled. Thou mayst stay and open a school of etiquette if it pleases thee, Morlund said. I fear my life's too short to teach lessons to the lessons these villains require. Still, I like not the look of the sky. It looks even more evil than the folk. I think we'll try our luck in the town. The town was surrounded by a palisade of wood and had a stout gate. Guards looked them over and refused them entrance. None but humans enter here, elf. Take thy rabble and be gone. I see. Ali, Mats, Edward, thou seemest to qualify for hospitality here. The rest of us will shelter elsewhere. Illyria announced that she would see them all blown back to Firsthold by a storm before she'd help within these gates. So they circled the town, passing a moat with stone walls within to keep of some store within that. A track north took them to a small house by a large barn nearby. Both looked in poor repair, but Morlund sent Illyria and Edward to knock at the door and ask if they might sleep in the barn. The rest waited in the road. An elderly woman answered their knock. She looked pleased to see them. Stay? I'd be glad of the company. No need to sleep in the barn, though, lady. I've room to spare. My name's Ora Engelsdottir. Illyria gestured toward the waiting companions. The woman squinted toward them. Thy man's here and some friends. Aye, we'll all squeeze together then. 'Twill be warmer so. I've a pot of soup on the fire. Made it to last me a week, but you're welcome to it. I can make more. My husband's an elf. Is he so? He looks good. He looks to take good care of thee and thy son. Thou's fat as pigs. Bring them in. I wish my granddaughter had such one to care for her. Ora refused payment, saying that she was not yet at such a pass that her guests must pay for her hospitality. She said that tales and songs and an evening's merriment would be payment enough. Pots and dishes were set out to catch the worst of the leaks. She knew them all well. They gathered outside the hearth and made very merry while the storm raged, banged the shutters and doors, and threatened to blow off the roof altogether. Tell me, my lady, Ora whispered in part to Illyria. He's truly good to thee. He's so big and so black. Truly good, Illyria said, keeping her mouth serious while her eyes laughed. Aye, 'tis well then. He put me a bit in mind of our baron, who's big and dark. Oh, not so dark as thy elf. He took my granddaughter, Karen, and he does not treat her well. He hurts her, my lady, and she dare not run away. Where would she go? Tears gathered in Ora's eyes and followed a worn familiar tracks down her cheeks. When their hostess had gone to sleep in their own room, Illyria repeated what she had been told. Let's rescue the girl, Beach said. We grow stale with inaction. Aye, said Silk and Willow at once. Mats growled in agreement. Mirth and Sass looked interested. Merlin looked doubtful. We cannot right every wrong in Tamriel. This baron offers his folk shelter of a kind. They could leave it if they liked better outside. Aye, Myth said. And he keeps bandits off so that he may rob the folk at leisure. And pull him down? There'll be another to take his place, or else outside will come and there'll be nothing left at all. Nothing would be better than filthy something, Matt said. There's that. The storm seemed to have moved away. Illyria went to the door and stared up into the sky where the clouds raced past the eastern moon. A single large brilliant blue star hung near the moon. Zenithar hangs near Tamriel tonight. Morlun? I'd thought to mend the roofs tomorrow if it's fair, he said, as she returned to the fireside. We'll do that much at least. As for the rest, Illyria? She asked for my help, in a way, and I think Zenithar's voice. I hear Zenithar's voice in the wind and feel his hand in the rain on this night. Thy quest, then, wife. Illyria nodded then, unsmiling. She curled up with Morlun in the chimney corner, and they whispered and laughed together for a while. Edward fell asleep. In the morning, he was sent up to the roof to help Beach and Willow place new shingles. Morlun wrote a letter which he gave to Mats, telling him to take it to the Baron, to arrive at the castle around dinner time, and to go afoot. You're going to challenge him for the girl, Edward grinned. But will he fight? He wouldn't take her back, and wouldn't he take her back again once we're gone? Since he wouldn't let me in the town, thy mother thought to invite him to our house instead. Morlun stamped the letter with a sealing ring and handed it to Mats. Oh, it's a long way to your house still, isn't it? Edward felt a bit of disappointment that no rescue seemed imminent. He supposed that it really was not reasonable to expect 8 people to take a keep, even if they were Morlun's companions. Probably the songs exaggerated their deeds. Morlun grinned, ruffled Edward's hair and told him to cease his questions, get up on the roof, and to mind his mother. Morlun and Myth set off together on foot. Illyria said they were going hunting. They did not return even at supper time. Illyria told Edward not to worry, they'd meet later. It was well after sundown when they bid their hostess farewell. They took all the horses with them and left them in a grove near the north wall of the keep. Illyria asked Edward if he wanted to wait for them with the horses. Edward asked where they were going. We have to enter the keep to get Aura's grandchild out. No questions, Edward. If you're coming, then stay with me and do exactly as I say. Levitate across the moat. I must swim. Once across, we'll scale the wall. Once inside, just follow me and be as silent as you can. Edward gaped as his mother and the other at his mother and the other companions. How could all 6 of them possibly storm a keep? 3 women, 2 men, and a boy. There would be guards up on the wall and more inside. Gnats would be inside too, though, he guessed. But where was Morlun and Myth? There were fearsome things in the moat. Edward began to protest, and then thought better of it. Sass slid into the moat first. There was some splashing and hissing, and then the water went quiet. Illyria entered the water. The others levitated. Here's the ropes, Beach said, feeling along the wall. There were 3 ropes. Edward, Beach, and Sass went up first. Illyria, Willow, and Silk followed. Morlun and Myth were waiting above. 2 guards were snoring softly in a heap. How? Edward began, and found his mother's hand clapped over his mouth. A guard from another wall section called out, and Edward's heart stopped beating. Myth called something back to him. Tramping footsteps moved away. The companions went silently down the stairs and slipped across the yards like shadows. There was no guard on the door to the keep itself. Inside, the passages were eerily quiet. They stopped at an imposing door and flattened themselves against the wall beside it. They could hear voices within. A thin, chilling wail sounded and died away. Morlun whistled a snatch of a song into the silence that followed. The door swung open, and they raced inside, falling on the startled guards like furies. Edward was last inside. Tooth in hand, he stabbed the nearest guard in the side, and Beach finished him with a blow to the head. Mats had been inside. It was he who had opened the door. His axe clove the head of one guard and then swung against the inner door. Illyria and Willow had barred the strong outer door. Morlun's opponent was a very young man. He'd taken one look at the dark elf, dropped his sword, and fallen to his knees, praying for mercy. Morlun eyed him with disgust and said, "Great Zenithar for me. Tell him Morlun of Ebonhard commends you to his mercy. I'll have none such as you." He slashed the young guard's throat. Blood sprayed over Morlun's leathers. His victim fell over, gurgling horribly. A burning acid rose in Edward's throat. He swallowed hard and then looked away. The guards inside the anteroom had been dispatched, but outside shouts and footfalls thundered, and there was a pounding on the door. Edward followed his mother into the inner chamber, which was empty save for a naked girl, tied spread eagle on an enormous bed, her eyes staring from her head. The companions cut her free while Illyria caught her shoulders. "Thy grandmother sent us, child. Where's the Baron?" The girl pointed at a bookcase and then clung to Illyria. She was no bigger than Edward and seemed not much older. Her breasts were just jeez, this is gross. She was covered with welts and blood, purple yellow bruises. Illyria flung her own cloak over the girl. Beach picked her up. Miss Fingers were feeling over the bookcase, and there was a click and a section slid aside. He went through cautiously, the others followed, and the secret door closed after them. "I think it's just a bolt hole," Myth said, "but there'll be traps, no doubt." "Go warily then, friend," Illyria said. "There's no hurry. I think the Baron plans to show his departing guests the door, as a good host should." A narrow passage opened to the left. Myth sent a bolt of light down it. The door was littered with bones, human bones. Small skulls stared eyelessly. "I'm going to enjoy killing him," Morlun said. "No," Illyria protested. "My quest, my kill." Morlun swung to face her. "Illyria, I want it sung that he died by Illyria's hand. I claim my right to face him, king." "Leave him to me and we'll sing it your way. He's twice your size. Do you want to fight me for the right?" The elf leaned over her a full head taller. "If I must," Illyria brushed past him, slinging her shield on her arm and drawing her short sword as she ran. Morlun grabbed at her, missed, and ran after her. His size hampered him in the low, narrow passage. Sparks flew from his spell shield as he caromed recklessly off the walls. "Come on, you two," Myth yelled from ahead. "I'm not promising to save him for you." "Morlun," Edward gasped, running after him. "You're not going to let her." "Let her? How do you propose I stop her? I'm open to suggestions short of actually fighting her myself." He seemed half angry, half amused. "Maybe he's gone by now." "Nay, he's locked in here with us. We found the exit earlier from the other side, and Myth set a lock that the Baron will not undo." "We'll paralyze her. You can carry her." "She's activated her shield. It reflects spells, among other things. I'd only paralyze myself, and I'd be inconvenient to carry. She'll be all right. It's an excellent shield. Casts a very protective spell. Eric himself devised it." Having a spot of trouble with your locks tonight, Baron? This voice came clearly from ahead. They emerged into a larger space where the Baron had been clawing vainly at switches beside a massive door. Shoddy work. You should get another smith. You won't be needing one, Illyria snarled. The companions spread around her in a semicircle. The Baron set his back to the door and set himself in a fighting stance. He was a big man, as big as Matt's. He was holding an axe as big as the one Matt's wielded, and wearing a breastplate and a helm. He addressed Morlin. 9 against 1. I'd expect odds like that from you black devils. Morlin was at the back of the group, yet the Baron had singled him out as the leader. People did somehow. Prefer the advantage of weight, do you not? But my wife wants you to herself. She cannot resist your charms, it seems, nor can I. I could not wait for you to respond to my invitation, so I came to you instead. I beat her and the rest of you kill me? That might be worth it at that, he said, staring at Illyria with cold dark eyes. Illyria smiled a terrible smile. Her dark hair swung free from about her shoulders, and she seemed to glow. You will not beat this woman, Baron, but if you do, then you go free. You are mine alone tonight. Swear it all by Zenithar. If he haps to kill me, my ghost will hound him to his grave and beyond. She sounded rather pleased at the prospect. Edward began to shiver. By Zenithar. The Baron laughed. I don't believe you, but one last female for my collection then. Are you so wearied of her, elf? Are you so afraid of her that you'd rather face me instead? Somewhere deep in his mind, Edward realized that the elf was right. Despite the Baron's bravado, he was afraid of Illyria. Edward hadn't sworn with the others. He clutched his staff tightly, but his feet seemed rooted to the floor. The Baron laughed again and swung a mighty blow at Illyria in answer, but it deflected harmlessly off her shield. His eyes widened as he realized that she was spell-shielded. Illyria danced aside and cut his arm. She was nimble, but he managed to land many blows. If her shield went, Edward did not finish the thought. But he was leaving himself somewhat open in hope of wearing her shield down, and she was scoring hits against his limbs. She kept her blows low, trying to cost him the use of his legs and drain him of blood. All the while she taunted him about his manhood, saying that she would geld him where he died. A great blow knocked her back, her shield flashed, and it was gone. The Baron raised his axe high to cleave her skull with a single blow. Her arm drew back, and she threw her slender short sword straight into her enemy's eye. He dropped the axe and fell screaming to his knees, hands clawing at his face. Illyria stepped forward and thrust the sword home, piercing deep within the brain. The body fell over, twitching and jerking. Well fought, wife. I had a master trainer and a better armorer, Illyria laughed. And then she threw back her head and shouted wordlessly in triumph, raising her arms, fists clenched. That you did, Morlin grabbed Silk in a rough hug and kissed her noisily. It's a neat trick you taught her, Silk. I'll thank you to cease flirting with my trainer, husband, Illyria said, wiping her slender adamantium blade carefully. Me flirt? Not while thy blood's up, and thy shield's still charged. I'm just thanking her. I'll kiss Eric, too, when I see him next. Is he truly dead? Karen had clung to Beach throughout the fight with their eyes closed, and now she regarded Illyria with awe. Edward thought this was the right word. Edward felt something of the same, although it was akin to horror. Dead enough, Illyria said, regarding the still faintly twitching form with satisfaction. The girl drew closer and then knelt beside him. She picked up a stone and smashed it into the face again and again, sobbing. When she'd done, Sass cast some healing spells on her. Mirth unlocked the door. They'd come out quite near where they'd left the horses. They took the girl back to her mother's house and left her there, instructing her to tell anyone that ventured to molest her that Zenithar's service would return if she was harmed. The bewildered old woman clasped her granddaughter to her. As she bade them farewell, she whispered to Illyria to look after that man of hers. Oh, I do, Illyria said. I do. When they stopped for rest, Illyria came over to Edward to talk to him, but he protested that he was very tired and wanted to sleep. Morlin tugged her away, saying that if her son did not need her, then she should see to her man who did. They moved out of the circle of firelight. Edward lay wakeful, listening to their small, stifled sounds. That was not unusual. It had troubled him at first. I can't sleep. You're too noisy, he'd protested one night. What are you doing, anyway? That had drawn giggles from the companions. Can't you at least pretend you're sleeping? Morlin had asked plaintively. Now I know why dark elves seldom have more than one child. What I do not understand is how humans manage to get so many. Morlin and Illyria had come back to lie by him that night, but after that he had pretended to sleep like the others. And the noises were too familiar now to keep images of the night's adventures from flashing through his mind, as vivid as they were happening again in truth. He could feel his daedra feeding, and he could not stop it. It just wasn't fair, he thought. But now he was beginning to see what Morlun meant by feeding his daedra and yet walking with the gods, with Zenithar. Morlun came back, carrying Illyria. He set her gently down and stretched himself out between Edward and her. "It must be difficult being a woman," he said softly. "It was hard watching her. Just watching." Edward nodded. "I've asked enough of her," Morlun continued. "She told me how hard it is, but I never knew until tonight. I knew she'd win. Zenithar was with her, and all the Baron had was his daedra. And still it was very hard to watch. She makes that cast 9 tries out of 10, and there were more uses on that shield if she missed. He'd have dropped out of exhaustion before he wore it out entirely. I keep thinking about it too, and the guard he asked for mercy. I know, and yet he listened to that night after night, and he remained the Baron's man. Most men is not as strong as you are. Maybe he couldn't help himself. Why was he pleading for a man already dead? His mind kept replaying the night's events as if they might yet come out differently, for better or for worse. Even to witness evil such as that corrupts the soul. To watch and do nothing. Mats would have stayed my hand if there had been anything else there worth keeping, and it's worse for the young. I am sorry that you had to pass through this night. Is my soul corrupted now? You feel the acid's bite, as do we all, but you'll heal. Can you heal me now? Aye. Morlun gathered the boy in his arms, and then rolled over so that Edward lay between his parents. Illyria put her arms around him without really waking. Her strong woman smell mingled with Morlun's musky dark spice odor in Edward's nostrils. She was so angry, Edward whispered. He'd wonder if he would ever really feel the same toward her again, and yet her arms were still as comforting as before. Maybe Morlun, too, had needed that reassurance and had been wise enough to ask for it. She's a woman. That sort of injury to another touches her near, he said. How near? The boy looked at the question he dare not put. Thy father's not a monster, but she was wed to a man who did not care for her, and she could not leave him. It's common enough among thy race, which makes it none too easier to bear, I think. She has a daedra too, then? Edward asked sadly. You must speak with her about that. It wasn't really a fair fight. Her shielded and not him. Fair fighting's for the arena, boy. Would you fight a wolf or a hellhound without weapons, spells, and armor, even though they have none? I would not. What'll become of Karen and Aura, and the other folk, now that the Baron's dead? Do I look like a prophet of Marketh? How should I know? We can stop here in the spring and see what's been planted in the field we burned tonight. I've no mind to stay and plow it. I have my own fields to tend. Listen to me. I sound like a Nord farmer. Mine's to dig is more like it. He yawned. The others didn't think about it afterwards. You did. I'm a king. That's what we do.
There are 12 parts to this thing. So I have 9. Alright, so I'm just missing 11. Oh, this is a library, not a bookstore. Never mind. Now I made notes in terms of when the next summoning is, so... I might even still have the book in the wagon. I guess I should probably read The Vampires of the Iliac Bay one more, volume 2. We did that one yesterday, or last week rather. I wish I remembered which one of the books gave me the summoning days. I did take notes, but they're a little hard to read. I think it's the 21st of this month, which is the next one. To do this, but I'm actually just gonna look for the book in the wiki. Invocation of Azura. Yeah, 5th of first seed, 21st of first seed. Mage's Guild, please. West, thank you. This isn't about getting the next summoning. This is just about making sure that I get the training in. Although if I had something to do here, that wouldn't be terrible.
The shop is better appointed than many. Its wares lie neatly on the shelves. Although not fit for a king, all are skillfully crafted.
I keep forgetting. I think I was onto destruction. Nope, it's alteration.
You and the trainer practice for 3 hours. The trainer tells you to reflect on what you've learned and to see if you can put it to good use. There are to be no summonings this day. I would suggest you do a little personal research to find the day when we perform summonings.
So if it's the 8th first seed, I have a few weeks before this becomes, before I need to worry about the task. So maybe what I'll do is I'll head down to a tavern and see if I can find some work.
Mother of Ice, good to see you, Caius.
Good to see you too. Hello, what can you tell me a bit of toil and grind?
What goes around comes around. Gondictor Greenling tried to cheat fate, so they say.
Nobody giving work, huh?
Rodane Morstan might have work. You can find him in the Laughing Helm.
Madam, could you please tell me where the Laughing Helm is?
You gotta go that way, northeast.
Laughing Helm. Oh wow, it's really up there. Alright.
Warm hello to you, good Caius. My former partner here at the Laughing Helm, a ranger, has taken more than his fair share of our profits and run away from Midbury. Now, I'm not the vengeful sort, but I would rather appreciate it if you could bring the ranger back to me so I can get some explanation for this remarkable behavior. I'll pay you 120 gold pieces for him alive, and 38 gold if you accidentally kill him.
Fair enough.
Frightfully good of you, Caius. I made some inquiries, and seems that our ranger friend is lurking about the vicinity of the Hearthheart ruins, unguarded and alone except for the usual brutes in residence. Edval Moorsmith is his name, and I expect him before me in 7 days, preferably alive. Don't disappoint me.
All right. Oh, now I don't know how to get out of here. place. Well, that was fun. No point in going through with light pockets. Oh, I should have gone to the bank. Too late now. I will admit, while I was really hoping that I would find the Oghma Infinium, it feels a little anticlimactic, having gotten it after just a quick assassination mission. Good lord, I need to save before I run into one of those things every time. Ow. Whoops. Well, I just fell through the world, so. See ya. I have levitate somewhere. Probably should investigate with levitation a little bit more, but I'm lazy. Oh, there is one more thing I want to check.
The scrap of parchment shows the location of the cairn of Valdevarar. You recorded on your map.
Let's start a new sheet. So ideally I loot all of this before my levitate finishes. Okay, good. I think I'll take my chances up here. Mine, levitation certainly seems to be lasting longer now. Should consider a rest at some point. Just in case. Very lucky.
Don't kill me! I surrender!
Oh, this is a tough call, actually. No, I think I do need to fully heal. And then I can just use teleport. Alright, so I guess the other question is, do I want to try and see if I can get anything else? I guess I can try that lich really quick. that fell a million miles down to the ground. Not around anymore. Fair enough. It'd be kind of fun to do some more exploration, but I figure it's probably better for me to do a lot of quick bounties rather than exhaust this place. So this was Midbury. This has to be the Mages Guild. Maybe not actually, because there's another building with a really similar shape nearby. Nope, that looks more like a church shape.
You and the trainer practice for 3 hours. The trainer tells you to reflect on what you've learned and see if you can put it to good use.
Also, maybe not having steel would be a good idea. So I think this is a pretty long... Yeah, the Laughing Helm is going to be a bit of a walk. But it's not like I have something better to do, so... If you're wondering why I oddly strafe every once in a while, that's usually when I get some, a sip of water in. Found him.
Ah, good day, Edville Mooresmith. It seems to me that we have some business to discuss, don't we? Caius, thank you for making this ranger's trip so as comfortable as possible. Here's the 120 gold I promised. This well-to-do merchant here in Midbury sent me a challenge. I guess a word has gone around that I have ruined the honor of his lover, Elvabeth Wickfield. Not that most of Daggerfall hasn't been with the old Elvabeth Wickfield first. Basically, I need someone like you to impersonate me in a duel. Would 1,097 gold pieces interest you in this?
Sure.
Good show, Caius. Bring this reply to Trister Coppersley, and you'll find him over at the Howling Porcupine. I'll expect you back in 6 days victorious for your just reward. Good luck, my friend.
Could you please tell me where the rival tavern is?
North. No, east. Just keep going south.
Could you give me slightly more specific directions? Somewhere around here, huh? Apparently it's a really loyal bar. the right just in case. Southwest. There we go. It is I, the one who has had relations with that woman you know.
You're Redane Morstan? You must be looking for the other person named Trister Coppersley. Real tough spell sword. You'll find him in the Buckinghouse residence. Good luck, Redane Morstan. I hope you win.
Madam, sir. Northwest. This is probably going to be a pain. But I do remember that the residences I normally look for have a very specific shape. Something not exactly like this, but definitely like this. Problem is, there's just so many of them here. I'm mildly tempted to try the Mage's Guild just so that I can eliminate possibilities. We'll start at this tavern and take the leads from there. Could you please tell me where I can find the... Wait. Oh, brutal. I don't want to find the howling porcupine, though. Yeah, Buckingham's residence. West. Okay, the real question is there somewhere I can check? I'll check to the north. After going west. I'm not very hopeful about finding it, though. Oh, hello. Alright, well, we'll have a night in the lion and the wolf, and then we'll do the duel tomorrow. That's a little more like it. All right. I always hate it when it comes to this.
You're in the Buckingham's residence where Tristram Coppersley said he would meet you. In the guise of Rodain Morstan, you have slain a spell sword in the guise of Tristram Coppersley. You have merely to return to your employer, and honor is restored.
pity the spell sword, of course.
Honor is restored, eh, my fine dark elf? Here's your 1,097 gold pieces. And now I should go to visit dear Elvabeth Wickfield and tell her of the ordeal, with certain alterations of the facts, of course. The Thieves Guild has taken my dearest Ysara Yomhouse away from me, and now they're demanding a ransom. I need someone to bring my lover back to me.
Another lover?
Any way you can. Please, will you help me?
Why not?
Thank Oblivion. Here's the emerald the kidnappers want for ransom. If you can find a way to rescue Ysara Yomhouse without paying the ransom, I would be very grateful. After buying that gem, my savings is almost entirely gone. You can, of course, have 14 gold once Ysara Yomhouse is returned. That will make my life savings gone entirely, but it'll be worth it. If the ransom must be paid, make sure you take no more than 20 days to do it. The kidnappers have an agent in the Greensley residence over in Aldingwich, a blonde-bearded man named Beador Greensley. Once 20 days have passed, he will send word to his friends wherever they're keeping Ysara Yomhouse, and they'll kill her. Please don't let that happen. Good luck, friend.
Alright, to Aldingwich it is. I want to be careful about the time that I take to do this, of course. Days. This is gonna be cutting it a little tight. So I have 4 days.
A warm hello to you, good Caius.
Where may I find Beador Greensley?
What you're going to want to do is go to the Greensley residence northwest of here.
Can't be that far northwest.
Someone says, come on in.
Haha.
You're Caius, aren't you? The Thieves Guild's fond of you, kid. Oh, by the frozen wastes, I see. You're working for Rodane Morstan to make sure he pays us with no funny stuff, right?
No.
Uthiel Wixton, kill this very stupid dark elf while I go do the same to the Ysara Yomhouse. Youthfall Wixton, the guild could use your muscle on a fairly routine kidnapping. The name of the victim is Ysara Yomhouse. After you've taken her from her home in the Laughing Helm in Midbury, go to Copperton Tower. Direction to the Copperton Tower follow. I hope this isn't too difficult of a plan for you.
Alright, we'll go there, but I want to do my daedric summoning first. 5 days is too long. Alright, so I gotta wait 2 days on this. Oh, but this will give me a chance to, just put down money and otherwise get some other work done.
Sturdy shelves cobbled together out of scrap lumber hold the shop's wares. The items are sound and functional, but little more than that.
I will admit I'm a little surprised that they won't take more. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, but it's not that much more. All right. Pawn shop's not too far away, so that should hopefully get us a little bit more coin.
Shop is laid out in a practical and straightforward manner. All of the items seem to be of adequate construction.
Alright, I will admit I am a bit surprised that they're not buying more. Alright, shockingly, I need to deposit more than I need to withdraw. Alright, honestly, it's slightly easier if I do it this way. So that should cover expenses like doing the training as well as inns and whatnot.
Incense and soft music soothe your nerves as you cross the threshold. Each item in this shop is carefully mounted and displayed, and not the slightest defect can be detected on any item within. You and the trainer practice for 3 hours. The trainer tells you to reflect on what you've learned and to see if you can put it to good use.
So what we'll do here is I'm going to sell off what I can at the there's a little mall here. So I'm going to sell off what I can there. And then we're going to spend the next couple of days just training in magic, waiting for the summoning. And then we'll finish the other two. We'll finish the quest that I'm on right now, and then whatever the daedric wants us to do. I always make this mistake in this shop. I will admit I'm a little surprised. I thought I had bought more. I brought in more stuff, but either I left it in the wrong window, or I just didn't pick up as much as I thought I did. Honestly, it doesn't even matter which tavern I go to. I'll go to the Dwarven Priest in honor of Johnny Big Time. 2 days, please.
After a long session of haggling, 8 gold pieces is my final offer. Whoa. By now Yuzara Yom House is surely dead.
That's no good. Damn. Well, that's life. Well, for most of us anyway. I thought it gave us more time, so that was my bad. I actually feel like it didn't really give me that much time, given the how long it takes to get to the location. Yes, I have a little less gold than I thought I would, but we should be good. Run for your lives! Run for your lives! Alright, it's 4 in the morning, so I think I can wait. While we wait here, I won't read King Edward again, but let's see.
Vampires of the Iliac Bay, Part 2. I told in the first chapter of my story how I became a vampire, and of my first kill. While it might, and indeed should, horrify the reader that my first victim was a friend of the mortal I used to be, it is my understanding that they are not uncommon first kills. I left the snow-white corpse in the alley and ran to the only place I felt perversely safe, the mausoleum. For the first couple of days of my undeath, I starved myself while I considered my fate. I relearned what I was capable of doing, and found that I was stronger, faster, tougher, and more agile than before. I had powers that as a knight I had only seen powerful mages wield. Later I discovered additional abilities such as total immunity to disease, helpful when descending on a plague-stricken city like a jackal. I also found my weaknesses. I could no longer stand the light of the sun. Exposure to it for longer than a few seconds burned me terribly. It also pained me to enter temples and other places of worship. The worst effect, of course, had to be my bloodlust. If I did not kill a warm-blooded creature once a night and drink its blood, my hunger would gnaw at me, and my any wounds I suffered would not heal, no matter how much I rested. Is this the moment for me to admit that there was a time I loved being a blood-sucking creature of the night? It is not impossible to live only at night, merely occasionally inconvenient, and I wouldn't have to kill humans every night, merely warm-blooded creatures. Orcs have a delicious, rich, brothy blood. Rats are a little sweet for the only meal of the night. Werewolves are a real treat, almost decadent, the tincture between human and beast, a real gourmet's delight. About a month after I died, I was having the best time of my life. One night, I received a letter from someone who said that he was family. Curious, I went to visit him at his tavern, and was told about a tribe of vampires to which I belonged, the Montalion. In return for me performing certain duties for the family, the man at the inn would train me in my vampiric abilities and skills. Though I never got very much detail, I surmised that the two main differences between the different vampire clans is the geography and powers. Montalion alone have the gift for teleportation, but that the other 8 have powers of their own. My mentor, that is the title that he used, would congratulate me after each mission I performed, and came to trust me more and more. If asked, he would tell me about the Montalion's newest alliances, who they were manipulating, who they were stalking. It was then that I started to become frightened at last. They, and all of their rival clans, were draining the blood of Tamriel itself. I panicked. I had to find a cure, but nowhere could I find any book or rumor suggesting that vampirism is anything but permanent, so I resolved to kill myself, but I wanted to bring the Montalion down with me. I joined guilds they opposed, and failed any mission given to me spectacularly. I thought my mentor would turn against me, but he only became quieter, less forthcoming with the information, never violent. He was not concerned. He had probably seen vampires like me before. Here's why he never attacked me. Immortals can afford to be eternally patient. At last he refused to give me any further missions. He wouldn't even talk to me, but he never left his tavern. I could come and go, and he'd watch, but never talk. That's when I got another letter. There are several of us, you see, former vampires who know what to look for. We're patient too. We learned it in our own life. We watch and listen and anonymously contact the vampires we know wish to end the curse. Ending the curse is possible, but only just. It is very dangerous, but when you are cursed, the only real danger is no escape.
And that's apparently the end. Alright, summoning time.
Incense and soft music soothe your nerves as you cross the threshold. Each item in this shop is carefully mounted and displayed. Not the slightest defect can be detected on any item within.
Wrong room. Sorry.
Today is Tertus the 21st of First Seed, the day of summoning for Azura. Do you, Caius, wish to risk your life and very soul by summoning Azura into our mundane world?
I do.
You dare summon forth Azura of the Crimson Gate, pleading for power? I don't know if you are worthy of such favor. In fact, I doubt it very much.
Would you like a shirt or something before you continue?
I suppose that if I demanded that you murder a priest who has been saying very, very rude things about me, you would refuse even that small, simple request. Would you do that for me?
Sure. I've already killed a dude.
You would? Oh, jolly good. Well, this perfectly awful priest is also a healer, if that means anything. Isn't that just typical? As usual with these self-righteous types, Rochester Mastering is secluded in Castle Kingford, cleansing or some ridiculous thing. Anyway, why don't you hop on over there and stick a sword in her or something, and then scurry over to Daggerfall and see my darling Dunval Woodsley, who will give you my star. That's enough power for anyone. I think 17 days is time enough for this, don't you? Oh good. Hurry along then, Caius, and don't be a stranger. Say hi to Dunval Woodsley for me, okay? Bye.
Alright, I was expecting this to be a little bit of an easier one like the last mission, but can't complain if we're getting powerful relics. I do admittedly feel rather bad about that hostage situation. Yes, no dungeon is complete without a long elevator ride. Hi there. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. so next time I'm going to save when the elevator arrives. I know this is going to be a bit of a shorter one anyway because it's quite late already. There's going to be two things that I do. One is healing. Then there should be a fire resist. $184 is a little much. What about shield? Nope. That was bracing. Frankly, I wish I never found King Edward, then I wouldn't have to read all 12 parts of it. There's something of an advantage to closing the range with the, fire daedra, just because if they wind up using their area of effect attacks, it hurts them as well. But you'll notice I'm getting a bit nervous because I'm saving every 10 seconds. Took me 3 good swings to finally catch this thing. Again, we're not doing bad on the gold, where I believe we're still down in total for the summonings, but alright, this gives me a big indicator that I'm probably going to wind up using the cheat to get to the target. Try something slightly different here, and instead of retracing my paths, I'm just going to use one jump, and I'll keep exploring. And if I wind up in a spot I've been before, then I'll just do another jump, and that seems to be a slightly better way for me to properly explore the dungeon while also not going around in circles. That's not even the right spot. Oh, Jesus. Elevator patterns. Oh, we were just here too. Alright. There's a third I still need to worry about. Yeah, another fine example, like... Okay, well at least this will tell me where the... Okay, fair enough. I'm not entirely sure this is the best design choice Bethesda's ever made. Why does this even exist? It won't even let me jump to move up this. Oh, now it will, because my slow falls down. Oh, what a pain. They do something really important that I'll never find out.
You've killed the healer Rodister Masterling as you promised Azura.
I mean, not that I know, right? Just gonna accept that I'm not gonna take everything and get out of here. Oh, crap.
You asked the right person. Just look for it southeast over here, I think.
Hopefully the town guard isn't looking for me for trying to pickpocket. Hello, madam. Alright, other madam.
Last time I checked, it was in the Daggerfall Lyceum, way southeast of here.
Alright, I think I should already have that in my list. Yep.
Incense and soft music soothe your nerves as you cross the threshold. Each item in this shop is carefully mounted and displayed. Not the slightest defect can be detected on any item within. Oh, Caius. Have you been here long? I'm sorry, I was just daydreaming about my mistress, the Lady Azura. That candle reminded me of the scintillation of her eyes, you see. How silly of me. Well, here's Azura's star. She doesn't give this to just anyone, but don't let it go to your bean. She was mine first. Azura's star holding nothing, condition new, worth 0 gold. Item powers 1 target, save versus magic. Few mortals have the stomach to trade in souls. The Dark Brotherhood does it, as do certain groups within the Mages Guild. For those cruel folk, Azura's star has a particular fascination. The star acts as a reusable soul gem. The soul of any creature killed by the bearer of this star is trapped within it. If the star already carries a soul, nothing happens. Using Azura's star empties it, freeing the trapped soul to make the journey to oblivion. Azura's star can be used to make magical items over and over and over.
Oh, actually, that's really good. And I think on that note, we will call it a day. Having done the Daedric's work, apologies for the slightly shorter episode, but it's about 3 o'clock in the morning now, so I have to go. And we'll see you next week.